Somewhere out there, the most stressed about money person you could meet this week is also one of the highest paid. They earn more than almost everyone they know, and they are quietly drowning. That is not a rare story. It's the normal one. A recent survey found that around 40% of Americans earning more than $300,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck. About 1 in 3 people pulling in six figures do too. Sit with that for a second. These are not people who don't earn enough. These are people the whole world would call successful, and they still feel the floor shaking under them. So here's the question today is built around. If earning more doesn't make people feel wealthy, then who actually is? And why does it so often turn out to be someone earning far less than you'd ever guess? The answer starts with one hard truth. You have been trained to read the wrong signal your entire life. Walk down any street and you can see the cars, the clothes, the phones, the renovated kitchens, the vacations posted at sunset. And your brain quietly files all of it under one word: wealth. But look closer. Every single one of those things is not wealth. It's spending. It's money leaving. You are staring at the exact moment someone's money walked out the door and calling it proof they have money. Real wealth is the opposite. Real wealth is invisible. You cannot see a savings account. You cannot see a paid-off debt. You cannot see the calm of someone who could lose their job tomorrow and still be fine for a year. The richest person on your street might be the one you'd never pick, because wealth doesn't shout. Spending shouts. Wealth just sits there quietly, keeping someone safe. Once that clicks, everything looks different. The people who look like they're winning are often just the people spending the fastest. And the people quietly winning for real? You were taught to walk right past them. But this raises a new problem. If high earners have all that income, why doesn't it turn into wealth on its own? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Picture the raise. The one you've been waiting for. It finally lands. And for about a month, it feels incredible. Then, almost without you deciding anything, life quietly expands to swallow it. A slightly nicer place, an upgraded phone, a better car with a bigger payment. Little by little, the new money finds new homes. 6 months later, the raise is gone, absorbed completely, and here's the strange part. You don't even feel richer. You just feel normal again, at a higher price. That quiet swallowing has a name: lifestyle creep. In plain terms, it means your spending grows every time your income grows, so the space between the two never opens up. And this is exactly what traps high earners. They keep climbing to the next level, and their lifestyle climbs one step ahead of them the whole way. More comes in, more goes out, and the finish line keeps sprinting away. They are running faster than ever and standing in the same spot. Now here is the part that decides everything. There is one number that actually builds wealth, and it is not your salary. It's the gap. The distance between what you earn and what you actually spend. That gap is the entire engine. Nothing else even starts without it. Think about two people who take home the same $5,000 a month. One spends $4,700 and keeps $300. The other spends $3,500 and keeps $1,500. Same paycheck, same job even. But the second person is building 5 times more freedom every single month, and give that a few years, and the difference isn't small. It's a different life. Now drop the second person's income below the first. Let them earn less. They can still win. Someone earning less who keeps a wide gap will pass someone earning more who keeps almost nothing, and they'll do it without breaking a sweat. That's the secret hiding in plain sight. It was never the size of the paycheck. It was always the size of the gap. This is exactly why people with less money so often end up ahead. They were never able to spend into every new level, so without even trying, they protected their gap. Their spending stayed still while their savings climbed. Meanwhile, the high earner spent into every raise and protected nothing. There's a heavier version of this too, and it's the one people underestimate most. Debt. Debt is the gap running in reverse. It's spending you already did, quietly reaching into every paycheck you haven't earned yet. A huge income buried under payments is like a powerful engine with the brakes locked on. All that horsepower going almost nowhere. Someone earning less with nothing owed is a smaller engine on a wide-open road. One of them looks faster. The other one actually moves. But there's one more thing the quietly wealthy understand, and it's the real reason they seem so free. They know their number. Most people never decide what enough looks like. So enough is always just a little further than wherever they happen to be. Earn more, and the target politely steps back the exact same distance. You can chase that your whole life and never arrive, because a moving finish line can't be crossed. The person who has actually named their enough stops chasing. They know what a good, full life costs them, and the moment you stop chasing, you start keeping. You buy what you genuinely want instead of what might impress a stranger you'll never see again. That is a kind of freedom no raise can hand you. Because in the end, wealth was never really about money at all. It was about choices. Wealth is the size of the decisions you get to make. Can you walk away from a job that's crushing you? Can you take the risk? Can you be there on a random Wednesday for the people who matter? Can you sleep through the night without doing math in the dark? A person earning less with a real cushion can do those things. A person earning a fortune with nothing behind them cannot. One of them looks rich. The other one is free. And freedom, not the car, was always the actual prize. There's even a kind of wealth that never shows up in any account. Quiet. The person with a real gap and no debt hanging over them sleeps differently. A surprise bill is a small annoyance, not a disaster. A rough month is a problem to solve, not a threat to survive. You cannot buy that calm with a bigger salary. You can only build it with a wider gap. So if you have ever felt behind while watching someone who makes so much more, remember everything you can't see. You might be closer to real wealth than they are. So let's turn this into something you can actually do starting today. Not someday, today. Stop watching your salary and start watching your gap. For 1 month, look at what came in and what you actually kept. That kept number is your real score. It is the only number that has ever mattered, and almost nobody tracks it. Then protect your next raise before it ever arrives. Decide right now that when more money shows up, a piece of it goes straight to savings before it can touch your life. You never miss money you never started spending. Let your income rise while your spending stays calm, and the gap opens up on its own. And finally, name your enough. Write down what a genuinely good life actually costs you. Not the fantasy version, the real one. Once you can see that number, the endless race quietly loosens its grip, because for the first time you know where the finish line is. Now think back to that high earner, drowning quietly with the biggest paycheck in the room. They were never short on income. They were only short on the gap, the protected raise, and a clear picture of enough. So the money keeps pouring in, and the wealth keeps leaking out the other side. You don't have to live that way. The number on your paycheck was never the prize. The gap always was. And you can start building it on your very next payday, no matter how large or small that paycheck is. That is why the people with less so often quietly have more. They stopped chasing the number and started keeping it. Subscribe for calm, no-hype money breakdowns every week.